Jai Hind all. Today I am going to discuss the very important topic of the cloud computing. Subject code is KCS 713 and this topic is related to the unit 3. And this topic is basically NIST Cloud Computing Reference Architecture. And in this lecture, I will cover the first part of this NIST reference model. So actually this model, this architecture is given by the NIST. NIST is the National Institute of Standard and Technology. Okay, that is a USA based organization, and this recommendation on the concept is given in 2011. Okay. Reference architecture. As we know that when we talk about the reference, we say this is the reference model and this is the reference. What does it mean? It means that this reference is accepted by everyone. Okay. So here reference architecture means a template of description, and that cover the architecture probably defined at a different level of abstractions. Okay, so this shows the high abstraction of the different functionalities as well as the lower level showing methods performing the specific task. At the top level that show the abstractions, that means that hide the details, and at the bottom or the lower level that cover the functionality detail of each and every aspect. So basically this is the blueprint, okay, a conceptual model for discussing the technical requirement, okay, and operation of the cloud computing. So this is basically when we talk about the cloud conceptual reference model, that means there is the high level architecture and that have the 5 major actors with their roles, with their responsibilities, activities, okay, and the functions in the cloud computing. So understanding the requirement, uses, characteristics and standard of cloud computing, they are the 5 major actors, and each and every activities and the role, responsibility and functionalities of this architecture is shown in terms of 5 major actors. Actor is nothing who directly, participate with the cloud. So the first one is the cloud consumer. Okay, that means the end user or the consumer who are going to use the cloud facilities or cloud computing services. Other is the cloud provider. Cloud provider is the entity or the body who are going to develop the cloud services for their client, for their consumer. So that is the cloud provider, that means service provider. Third one is the cloud broker. Cloud broker, as you know that this is the very common term, broker. That means this is the third party who are going to give the facilities, who are going to give the cloud services to the client, and that services are developed by some developer or the provider. So this is the third party between the provider and consumer. So this is the cloud broker. What is the advantage? You can say that what is the advantage of being a broker between consumer and provider? Because it is obvious that provider directly can target their consumer and provide the services. So this broker is a very important entity because that can take the services from the multiple cloud provider and can form a best package for their consumer. So consumer need not to worry about the different kind of services and the quality of services, security of services. This third part, this broker, is the trusted party and that ensure all these quality parameters, as well as they no need to wander here and there you as a consumer, you can go for a particular broker and you can take any kind of services like platform as a service, like a software as a service, or infrastructure as a service. Okay, so that integrate the services from the different provider and integrate in a common package, and that package is provided to the consumer as per need. And the fourth one is the cloud auditor. This cloud auditor is also a very important actor here. This is also a third party. What is the role of this auditor? This is the third party who ensure that all the parameter, quality parameter, security parameter are ensured properly by the provider. Okay, so this auditor basically audit the services as well as that services are audited to give the quality parameter, okay, to that particular consumer. And other one, last one is the cloud auditor. Okay, this cloud career is the last one, and this is basically the parameter or the entity or the actor who are responsible for sending the services from cloud side, from the vendor side to the receiver or the consumer side. Okay, so that have the facility of the networking facility, so that can be shared, that can be hosted from the consumer, from the developer to the consumer. So these five are the very important actors who participate in this particular cloud computing reference model. So let us see this one in more detail. This is the diagram for this architecture, NIST reference architecture. So as we know that NIST is the very important body in the field of cloud computing, because many of the services and many of the concept, architecture, model are defined by the NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology, that is the USA based organization that is globally accepted, and that have given the different kind of research and development and new concept in the field of cloud computing. So this one is the first entity, as you know, that cloud consumer, and who are going to consume the services, who have the end user who are going to use the particular type of cloud services, and this is the cloud auditor. This is the cloud provider, and this is the cloud broker, and this is the cloud carrier. Okay, so consumer consume the service, provider have the major role, and in this diagram you can see this is shown at the heart of this particular model. So these are the different kind of responsibilities that are provided by the cloud provider, like service orchestration. This is a very important functionalities by the cloud provider. And other one is the resource abstraction and the control layer, and this is the physical resource layer. Then cloud service management, these are the other functionalities in perspective of business support, provisioning and configurations, portability and interoperability. Okay, so this cloud provider have these major roles. Service orchestration means to govern the service, to deploy the service, to control the service. Okay, because you know that every facility in the cloud computing is provided in terms of services, web-based services. Okay, so the management of the services and the service orchestration means governing the services, hosting the services, and managing the services for the end user. This is the work of cloud provider. So here are the three kind of services: SaaS, PaaS, and NAS. And we will see in the next part in more detail all these. And resource abstraction and control layer. So this is the layer which provide the complete abstraction for the user. Okay, all the resources are controlled by this particular provider, and that is very much hidden from the consumer or end user. And this is the physical resource layer that are going to manage, going to control the hardware as well as all the facilities that are provided to the consumer. Cloud service management for the business support. Okay, that means managing and configuring the services so that more income can be made on a particular service. For the business perspective, that should be very user friendly and that is readily available for the consumer. All these things you have to manage. Then provisioning and configuration, that means you have to make the package for your consumer as per their need. That means you have to provision the resources. This provisioning is done on the basis of the requirement of the consumer as well as the policy of the developer. And then portability and interoperability. Portability means, that in this particular cloud computing, there is a concept of virtualization. What does it mean? It means on the same hardware, same set of hardware, number of machines, virtual machine can be created. Okay, this is possible due to the virtualization layer. There are the number of virtualization layer product like hypervisor, that is known as a hypervisor, or VMM, virtual machine monitor. The example is like VMware. Okay, so this this product, VMware or hypervisor, is a particularly set of software, okay, just like operating system software, that are going to manage number of virtual machines, okay, on same set of hardware. With the help of this virtualization layer, number of operating system, more than one operating system can run simultaneously on the same set of hardware, and each operating system which are running concurrently on the same hardware, these different operating system can deal different applications. So this give an illusion that a particular individual machine are running, okay, and that is known as this combination of operating system, like OS1 is dealing with application 1. So this OS1 along with application 1 is known as virtual machine 1. So because due to this virtualization layer, number of virtual machine can be run or number of operating system can be run. So all these operating system is known as, along with the application, known as virtual machines. So the load of any virtual machine can be shifted to other virtual machine. This is the portability. Or in fact, you can shift your load, your computing load to some other data center also. That is the interoperability, and that data center may belong to some other vendor. That means these services and load can be interchanged with some other vendor also. That is the interoperabilities. So all these are the work of cloud provider. They have to manage, as well as their major role is to maintain the security as well as privacy. As we know that when we talk about the security, what does it mean? Security means you have to ensure three things: CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These three things. Whenever we talk about security, that means like computer security, information security, data security, and network security. That means we are going to ensure these three things. Confidentiality, data should be confidential, should be private, that cannot be disclosed, or illegal user unlegitimate user cannot access the data. Integrity, that means you are ensuring the genuinity of the information or data. Okay, that is original or not. That is known as the integrity. That means the data that is provided by the particular vendor and the same data is received or used by the consumer. There is no alteration or modification between the communication. So this is the process of integrity. And then availability means this is also a very important parameter, because number of attacks target this availability itself. So availability means whenever consumer require or as an end user you require a particular service, that should be readily available for you. Okay, there should not be delay or that should not be unreachable. So if you are ensuring this, that means you are ensuring the availability of that particular resources. Then the number of attack, like the well-known attack, DOS attack. Okay, denial of service attack. Yeah, DDoS, distributed denial of service attack. So these attacks target the availability. Okay, that make unreachable your resources or that particular server, and so the legitimate user cannot use that. Okay, so this security means ensuring all these things. This is the function of this cloud and the responsibility of cloud provider, as well as privacy, keeping all the data as well as application secure for the consumer. And there is a cloud broker. There are the three basic important means functionality, like service intermediation, service aggregation, service arbitrage, and at last there is the cloud carrier that is responsible to transferring the services from the developer to the consumer. So parts of this discussion, as we know, the actor and roles. Core individuals or user with key responsibility in the system function is known as the actor. 5 actors. And the architectural component, when we talk about the architectural component, that for managing and providing the cloud services, for deployment, for orchestration, for management, for security, and for privacy. So this is the basically these 5 services or the functionality basically known as architectural component. This is the heart of this particular architecture. Actor and role, as we know that they are the, how many actors are there? There are the 5 actors, 5 major entities who are participating in this particular cloud computing environment. Consumer, then provider, as I have already told you, broker, the intermediate between consumer and provider. They hide complexity of the services or create new services or ensure the quality of services, security of services. Auditor, independent performance, security monitoring and assessment of the cloud services. This is the very important entity. Auditor is the entity who are ensuring the quality of services as well as the security of services. So this is the unbiased, entity. And this help both consumer as well as provider. Basically, this is appointed by the provider to ensure the services, quality of services. Carrier provide connectivity and transport of the data and services between the provider and the consumer. This is the computer networking services basically that is provided by the carrier. Interaction between actors. Okay, so as we know that all these actors have to interact to each other. Okay, so this cloud consumer have to interact with the auditor and cloud broker, and all these have to interact with the help of cloud carrier, because cloud carrier is the platform that provide the medium in which the data, application, services can be shared from one entity to another entity. Cloud consumer, as we know that browse the service catalog of the provider, request service depending on the activity, use scenario, set up service contract with the provider, provides, may be billed for the service, SaaS, IaaS, PaaS, all these are the, there are the 3 kind of services. Software as a service, platform as a service, PaaS, infrastructure as a service. Consumer need SLA. So basically there is a agreement between provider and consumer, that is known as service level agreement. SLA is service, as for service level agreement. This is a very important document and the agreement that is signed between provider and consumer. So this consumer need SLA to specify their performance requirements to be fulfilled by the provider. However, SLA are offered by the cloud producer and in most cases are not negotiable. So basically this is the terms that is provided by the provider, and basically this have the quality of the services that is specified in a well-formed document. So this is service, this is a basically contract that are negotiated and agreed between provider and customer, so to locate reserve resources to satisfy consumer requirement with efficiency and optimally resource and service uses. So to guarantee an SLA, the auditor must be capable of monitoring the different type of quality matrices like service availability, network matrices, storage matrices, okay, and the response time, quality services, and all these are the different parameters who are judged by the auditor, and all these parameters basically specified in the SLA document. So SLA can be defined clearly for the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. For infrastructure as a service, this SLA are well documented and well defined. But for PaaS and SaaS, SLA are still vague and difficult to be defined, as these refer to the higher level of functionality but can agreed between provider and customer based on the application, use cases, and the requirement and business level plan. So this is the ESL, this is a format, basically a model, or you can say this is the sample of SLA for the infrastructure as a service, which are well defined, like CPU capacity, what should be the CPU speed for the virtual machines, memory size, cache memory size for the VM, what should be, what is defined, specified here, boot time, time for VM to ready for use, storage size in data, that is also well specified. That type of quality is means experienced by the consumer or not. So scale up, scale down, max of VMs for one user, minimum number of VM for one user, scale up time, that is time to increase number of VMs, scale down, this is the time to decrease the number of VM. Suppose 2 or 3 VM are assigned to you and you want to decrease the requirement of VM. So what is the time, in which time you decrease the number of VM? Availability, uptime of services in specific time. These are the example of cloud services, like this is the SaaS services. Okay, here this is the IaaS, this is the SaaS, this is the IaaS, and this is basically this is the PaaS. Okay, so these kind of services are there. So okay, Jai to all. This is the first part I have covered here in the NIST reference model. Thank you, and we will cover the next part, second part of this same architecture, NIST reference architecture. Okay, thank you.